That's why I paused. So I just want to set the context, the fact that the amount of registrations that we've seen for this session and the number of, the turnout that we're seeing the first couple of minutes of us starting, I think is a mic drop moment for all the universities here because that's the amount of interest and intrigue that everyone has or the counseling community has for what they can expect. And so we're very excited about this conversation. International branch campuses are not new globally. They've existed for decades in other countries, but in India, they represent something entirely different. For years, because of regulatory restrictions, we've not had the possibility of having so many wonderful universities set up campuses in India. But with the advent of the NEP and subsequent policy changes, these pathways have opened up wide. And what we're seeing now is, of course, a result of that. So what we're witnessing now is not just institutional expansion, but it's a fundamental restructuring of how international education is becoming accessible in India. Universities that previously required students to, say, travel abroad, building campuses here in Bombay, Bangalore, Gurgaon, Gujarat. The model is live, operational, but families are asking questions. And counselors don't necessarily have all the answers because it's at a very nascent stage. So at TOC, we've always believed that access to strategic intelligence and professional networks should not be difficult or expensive. It should be infrastructure, basic, something that exists because all of our work requires it. And when we say the student is at the center of it all, then information and access is critical to making sure that students have the right guidance. So that's why the session is open to not just counselors, but I know many of you represent organizations that are keen to work with or partner with or collaborate with many of these universities. And we have opened this up to non-members as well because we really felt like this was the need of the hour. So tonight we're going to start with a macro level context setting before we move into specifics of each institution. And gives me great pleasure to introduce someone that I deeply respect, Monica Mehta, the Vice President of Strategy and New Projects at Emeritus. And she not only understands what these institutions are building and the ground realities that they're navigating, but she's pretty much at the helm of this historic development in Indian higher education. So we're going to spend a few minutes exploring a few key questions, and then we will move forward to get to know the amazing University of York, Mumbai, University of Liverpool, Bengaluru, Illinois Tech, Mumbai, Victoria University, the University of Bristol, and the University of Aberdeen. So Monica, without further ado, let's set a very tight and strong context for what's to come. Thank you for being here, first of all.
Thank you, Bhakti, for having me and for setting this up. This is, like you said, a historic moment. I really want our counselors to get as much information as they can today so that they have all the relevant answers when, parents, students, educators asking them questions. So let's hit the road. Really
Absolutely.
Excited.
Let's do it. So, Monica, to start off with, right, like 5 years ago, the idea of studying at a UK or an Australian university campus in India would have seemed a far-fetched dream at best, right? But today it's a live operation, and it's an option that families have, and they're actively considering it. From your vantage point of advising universities on India and the entry to India, what shifted? What has made 25, 26, or 24, 25 the moment when IBC said, yeah, this is it. Let's set up in India?
Yeah, great question. So what changed, right? Like you asked, what happened in 25, 26 that became the inflection point? I'd say 5 years ago, IBCs in India were largely theoretical, discussed in policy circles, but not really operationally viable. What changed, I think, is that I would say four power forces, right, that aligned simultaneously. So one is policy clarity, along with some institutional push, market demand, and then ecosystem readiness, right? Like all of these factors luckily have just come together. So just kind of dwelling on each of them a little bit for everyone's understanding. First is the regulatory, certainty that I'm talking about. The turning point was the implementation of the NEP in 2020, and crucially, then the 2023 regulations that were issued, right, by UGC, allowing foreign universities to establish their campuses and to grant degrees in these campuses in India. So for the first time, institutions had a clear pathway, right, for approvals and for governance, for faculty hiring. I mean, all of this is very well outlined by them. Fee structures, degree equivalents, all of this. Before this, I think there was uncertainty and, not a lack of interest, but that is what kept the universities on the sidelines. Secondly, I'd say strong government intent to internationalize, right? Not only Indian higher education, but I think that they wanted to position India itself as a global education hub. Raising gross enrollment, reducing massive outbound student flow. Like, I mean, given my, past in TNE, I know how many thousands and millions of students have gone abroad, bringing world-class institutions into the country, right? Given that these 1.3 million students were going abroad, it represented both an unmet domestic demand, if I may call it that, and a significant economic outflow. So IBCs, at least at the policy level, are now seen as a strategic solution for global education at home. And thirdly, then I'd say institutional drivers from universities themselves, right? I think UK, Australian universities in particular are actively globalizing. Some of them face demographic pressures, visa changes, financial constraints in their home markets, which makes India, by default, with its scale and talent pool, one of the most compelling destinations, for expansion for a lot of these universities. It's not just another market for them. From whatever I've heard and seen in the boardrooms, it's arguably the largest single pipeline of globally mobile students, right?
Yeah.
And then I'd say fourth, proof points and early movers, right? What transformed the conversation from that concept to reality was the launch of some of the first campuses like Deakin, University of Wollongong in Gift City, some of the others that opened up in, maybe Gurugram and elsewhere. And then once families saw that these were not just, names being floating around, but these were real campuses admitting students, the confidence surged, right? And then I would say affordability plus global outcomes as well. Branch campuses offer that compelling value, right? Internationally recognized degrees, global curricula, mobility pathways. We'll talk more about that, I'm sure,
Yeah.
in all of our presentations. But all of this dramatically widened access to global education. And finally, I'd say market readiness on the demand side, right? India now has a large aspirational middle class, and it values international global education, and it's increasingly seeking options closer to home, right? So for many families, IBCs then represent the best of both worlds in that sense. So I think those are the factors in my mind that really, drove it.
That's very helpful. I think from a policy perspective or a just also from a corporate speak perspective, and when I look at the counselors in the room here, I look at them as interpreters, right, of what's going to be discussed here, and therefore what does that mean for what they will relay or not to their students, right? So when families compare options today, right? Let's take an example. A student from an IB school in say Mumbai or Gurgaon, and they're weighing their options against an IBC, against studying abroad, say in the UK or Canada, or even emerging destinations which are actually at a more comparable price point to IBCs in India. So, strong academics, 15 to 25 lakh budget, parents seeking global exposure, but are risk averse about sending their child abroad. That's a great fit. But who is the student profile? Who is the IBC model really designed for? What kind of a student? Who gets the most value from such a pathway? And when might studying abroad still be the better choice?
Mm. Again, very, very interesting and pertinent question. So I'd say at a fundamental level, the IBC model sits at the intersection of access and aspiration, right? It delivers a global kind of education experience, but with a significantly lower financial, emotional, which is important, and logistical risk for a lot of parents. So again, if I had to kind of point out a few points and which are the students that I would say get the most value from IBCs, from our pool of Indian students, high potential students who are priced out of full overseas studies, right? I mean, with the dollar at 92 to the rupee or 91, 92, I mean, it keeps hovering there. I mean, the pound at like in the, lower 110s, 120s. It's becoming really expensive. So a full undergraduate degree in these countries typically costs anywhere from 80 lakh to 1.5 crores all in today for families, which simply for a lot of families is not feasible, even if they do have access to finance, right? So what do IBCs provide? An international degree from the parent university. It provides a global curricula and pedagogy. International faculty exposure, because we are going to have a lot of faculty that coming from, the home campus or from, global recruiters. Potential mobility options into their home campuses. And all of this at a fraction of the cost, right? So that's the first. Second, risk-averse families who prioritize safety and proximity. A lot of parents that I've spoken to worry about sending up children abroad, like you said, at 17, 18, the safetiness, loneliness, and maturity levels differ, right? Some visa uncertainties, which have now just crossed a certain level, right? Cultural adjustment for students, and then, of course, health and support systems, all of this. And from a IBC perspective, you get a global education, but you get that local assurance and proximity. Then third are students who mature later or prefer a gradual transition, right? Not everyone is ready to jump into a new culture at 18. So not every high achiever can do that. And therefore, this builds confidence at the initial level, develops some independence, improves communication skills, helps them to explore career paths in the beginning, and then prepares them for that future global mobility, right? Mm. And then I'd say the fourth one in my mind would be a bucket where there are students seeking strong outcomes without extreme pressure, because not again everyone can handle that extreme pressure. So that IBC environment, I believe, will provide smaller cohorts, higher faculty interactions, industry-aligned programs, which all of us are really seeking to do, and then strong career support within India, right? So having said that, I'd say when studying abroad might still be the better choice, to counsel that responsibility, it's important to recognize that IBC may not be a universal substitute for all students, but these are the ones that I feel are truly the ones that will benefit from IBCs.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, as promised to everyone, we're literally keeping this tight. So Monica, great job to the two of us for keeping pace. But last question, very, very pertinent. There are misconceptions on both the sides, right? So for example, and I want to ask you, according to you, what is the biggest misconception for IBCs when they enter India? Like, what is it that they have to be prepared for? And on the flip side, what do you wish counselors would convey to families on their misconceptions about what IBCs are here to do? Because there is, in my view, a clear gap in expectations, and this whole conversation around is it a substitute for studying abroad? It's not, clearly, from all the conversations that we've all had. But so what are the clear misconceptions on either side, if you would like to just sort of shed some light on that?
So when it comes to universities, just I'll dwell briefly on that, but move quickly to the counselor side, right? I think one of the assumptions is that brand alone will drive demand, right? But in reality, Indian families ask many more practical questions. What are the career outcomes? Will this degree be valued by employers in India? Or will local internships and placements exist, right? Especially given that these are new campuses. Is there industry integration happening or not? In India, I think education is always viewed as a means to an end, not an end in itself, right? So prestige does matter, but outcomes matter even more so. And then, of course, for some universities, treating India as a single homogeneous market. But India is not actually one market. It's dozens of micro markets, as most counselors will say, right? There are price sensitivities, there are career aspirations, school systems differ, cultural expectations differ, and language backgrounds, right? So all of that makes it quite complex. And therefore, what might work in a Bangalore or a Mumbai may not resonate in tier 2 cities. And then underestimating the role of parents in decision making. I would say, especially for undergrad students, they are not sometimes just core decision makers, but often the primary ones, right? So they evaluate safety, ROI. ROI is becoming extremely important, social environment, long-term stability, peer cohort, quality, like who are their peers. And I think finally, I would say mispricing the middle, right? Some universities price IBC programs too close to overseas tuition. And then Indian families are highly value conscious. So if the price approaches studying abroad in UK, Canada, US, wherever, then the parent will say, well, why not just go overseas, right? The sweet spot is the clear differentiation or the value differentiation that we can bring, right? So I
Yeah.
would say
Yeah.
those are, and then coming to the biggest misconceptions and on the family sides that they hold, right, for IBCs. I think a lot of families, at least the questions that I've had oftentimes is, it's not the same as the main campus degree, because in the past we've had this NEP, and the new law has just come in now, so parents still don't realize that this is the same degree, so they worry that the qualification will be diluted or treated differently. But in most credible IBC models, the degree is issued by the parent or the home campus, right? And therefore counselors can really play a crucial role in clarifying that equivalence to
Yeah.
parents. And then secondly, it's basically a foreign university franchise is what parents feel, right? Because we've had franchise models. But in reality, this is a high quality branch campus involving direct academic oversight, faculty from the home campus, identical curriculum frameworks to the home campus, and a global quality assurance. And therefore, counselors can really help families distinguish between genuine branch campuses and other international partnerships, right? Those are two very different things. And then students not getting global exposure if they stay in India. Like a lot of parents send them for global exposure. Now, I wouldn't say that you can absolutely replicate a home campus here instantaneously, but definitely IBCs can provide diverse student cohorts, which we are very, very wanting to do, international faculty, a global curriculum, a global mobility and exchange opportunities for all of our students, and then multinational company interactions as well. And then I think the final one in my mind is students, this is only for students who could not go overseas. And again, I think that perception is rapidly changing. But I think increasingly, even strong students are choosing IBCs deliberately. And it's not really always a fallback option for them, but a strategic pathway combining global credentials with some financial assistance, right? So yeah, those
Yeah.
are the things I would say. Yeah.
Thank you for this. And I can't help but be reminded of exactly about 10 or 15 years ago, with when there was a huge advent of liberal arts colleges and universities in India. And we were having very similar conversations on the value that they provide and the price points. And I almost feel like it was such a deja vu right now when I heard you speaking, because I was like, that's exactly what we were talking about 10 or 15 years ago with liberal arts colleges. It takes a little bit of awareness. I think eventually, parents, students, counselors will understand IBCs for what they are, but IBCs will also have to come through on what they deliver. But with that, I think we have such exciting ground to cover in the next hour. So, Monica, thank you so much for setting that context. That was very important. It was not just a panel discussion, this was a very important conversation to have. And I would love to now introduce my colleagues, Ritu and Rashi. Ritu is the founder of EduCrossroads, which is a very prominent independent education consulting company. And Ritu is also a very prominent member of the Outreach Collective and a member of the learning committee at the Outreach Collective. Ritu, thank you for your effort in putting the session together. And Rashi is the counselor at the CMS group of schools in Lucknow. And she's again a very prominent member of the Outreach Collective, a member of the L&D committee. Ritu and Rashi could not have had better folks helming this conversation. Please lead us into the next segment where we'll now hear from every single university. Over to you.
Well, thank you so much. Ritu, with your permission.
Of course, Rashi. Please go ahead.
Yes. So excited, Monica. It was such a the way you delved into the depth as to why it is the need of the hour to have these IBCs in India, how the parents are going to connect to it, how the students are going to aspire to be on these campuses for the various reasons. We are so excited for what comes next in our session, and for our audience, we get to interact with the university representatives of the 6 universities present here today. With that, I request Pramod, who's I think representing University of York, to take us forward with the slides, and then we have a few exciting
Yes,
questions to understand their system better. Thank you, Pramod.
thank you. I thank you everyone, and thank you for having me. Myself, Pramod Tiwari. I'm the director for admission at York University, Mumbai campus. So, since you guys must have heard about the location in Mumbai, it's Pavai Hiranandani, the place called Pavai Hiranandani, and lot many corporate companies, either their branches or headquarters, are nearby. That is one of the reasons of selecting this location. Can we have the next slide? Yeah. So we are top 10 research excellence framework. So we are among top 10. I think somebody had questioned that about research, because we are research-based university. So just to highlight that even our QS ranking and the pedagogy, that is all over here. In case if you guys want, we can share the brochure with everyone individually. These are the programs that we are going for the first year. We have 6 UG programs, and the duration for all the UG program is 3 years. Along with that, we also have 3 PG program, and the duration for PG is 1 year. These are some of the salient features that were all things that we are going to provide at Mumbai campus. So many of you may have concern about the degree or the pathway or the exchange, semester exchange. So yes, everything is possible. Even faculties from UK campus will be here in India Mumbai campus, at least for a semester. In case if they have chosen to come to India campus, they will be here to complete at least one of their semesters. And likewise, on the next slide, we also have something for students. Yes. So these are the options that student can go for. Either student from UK campus can come to Mumbai, and Mumbai campus student can also move to the home campus. They can either go for summer or semester, or 1 year, 2 year, 1 year in UK, 1 year in India, and again 1 year in UK. So all the options are available. Now, this is very interesting about comparing the fee structure, if you see. So in India, UG course will cost 12.5 lakh rupees. Comparatively, if you see, this is more than 55% less than what is charged there at the UK campus. So, and for post-graduation, this will be 15 to 17 lakhs. The link is there on the website to apply for. In case if you have any students or any queries, you can also connect with me personally. Monica can share my details. That is all from my end. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Pramod, for taking us through the program and the offerings of University of York Mumbai campus. And I'm so happy that you touched upon the mobility pathways that the students have to study in, of course, the home campus, and the faculty engagement that you mentioned, how they will be taking a semester at the Mumbai campus for our students. I
Yes.
would also like to explore how University of York can support as far as the research supervision go for our Mumbai students, particularly in research-led programs like computer science and AI, which are, of course, the offerings for undergraduate and masters.
So as I mentioned that we are among top 10 in teaching and research. Research is something which is integrated in our teaching path, and a lot of opportunities for independent and peer-based learning. Same courses being taught in both campuses. at the same time. So students have opportunity to collaborate on research project across campuses, not necessarily that they have to do it at Mumbai campus. So lot many project options will be given to students, and it is up to them which one they would like to go with. Apart of that, they will also be having corporate mentors. Like even though students will be coming in the month of September, however, we have already hired a complete team for corporate relation, and they have already started signing up MOUs with these organizations, institutions, wherein they will be having the exchange of mentor and student for their research, for their internships, and other online projects. So all the options are available for student for all matters.
Thank you, Pramod. And one more question that comes to mind, that as far as the mobility pathways go, are they open for the students beyond a certain semester or after a year on the campus in Mumbai, or is it open to them freely across the board?
It will be open to them throughout their course duration. There's no
Perfect.
restriction that you have to do it like first year in India or second year over there, and you cannot move in third year. No restrictions are there.
So no lock-in period, but the mobility is offered to the students as per the number of seats that are available and the mobility that's available to them. All right.
Moreover, as per their choices.
All right. Okay. Thank you. Thank you so much, Pramod. And with this, I hand our session over now to Ritu to take us forward with the next university.
Thank you, Rashi. I think I would like to welcome Astha for the University of Victoria presentation. Sorry, Victoria University presentation.
Thank you, Ritu. Thank you very much. And that was great, Pramod. Got to learn about York today, and moving on to Victoria University. I am just dropping the website for everybody's ready reference because it's much easier to just go on to the link and ask questions later. So the website link is right there. So I represent Victoria University. There are India is full of universities and colleges, but Australia has close to 4650 universities, out of which around 36 or 40 odd universities are public universities. Victoria University is one of the most well-known public universities. And because we are going to keep this really tight, I thought of speaking about the USP of Victoria University, which is the block model. The idea is that we keep our classes smaller and we deliver better results. And I will dwell into it just in a minute why we deliver better results. According to many research and many data reports that come across, we have a 94% success rate, which I think is quite good. We're also a host of having many first generation students on our campuses, which is also because of this innovative way of teaching and learning. And we are also industry focused, which basically means that everything that we deliver on the campus make sure that we are focused around career-ready learning. Having said that, we are also #1 in peer engagement. And all of these things are very important to keep in mind, because what I tell you next about the VU block model, I'm sure a lot of counselors are going to come back with different questions, which we will on later. Can we go to the next slide, please? So here, if you'd see at the top, they've given you a standard university model. You have semester, unit 1, you take lectures, tutorials, your assignments, and at the end of the semester, you take your exam. Same goes for each of the subjects. Block model, however, does not function that way. So roughly 4 weeks is what we're looking at for each subject. So if I've taken up a degree, say I've taken up a bachelor's in business and I'm specializing in business analytics in that. So I will study one subject for 4 weeks, roughly a month. In that 1 month, I will have a very close connection to the peers that are there in my class for that subject, and also with my faculty. So there's a very close focused learning that you go through when you are studying in a model like that, because it'll focused around the students. So for 4 weeks, you're studying that. And towards the end of the 4th week, you take your assessment. You don't wait for the 6 months or the end of semester. You take your assessment right there. So if you could focus on the screen here, after the 4 weeks, at the end, you take assessment. So your learning and your tests keep going hand in hand. You do not have to, cram up everything and then put it on a paper, and then forget about it the next day. You learn on the go. You would also see there's an 8-week block that you see here. So for undergraduates, we will have a 4-week block. Basically, you study the subject for 4 weeks. For an MBA, you study a subject for 8 weeks. So your block is then 8 weeks. So undergrad and postgrad have that differentiation. Can we go on to the next slide? So here we've showed you how this will look like for India. If you see here, there's a summer block, which is showing July, August. And then there is another block, which is a winter block around Jan, Feb. This is also showing that we take 2 intakes during the year, one in the beginning and one in the January, that is after around winter break. The top model here, 4-week model, is relevant for the undergraduate studies. The block down there, which shows you 4 different blocks, is for your masters. The degrees we are offering are a bachelor's degree in business with 3 specialisms, namely banking and finance, business analytics, management and innovation, bachelor's in IT, bachelor's in data science, and bachelor in cybersecurity. So these are 4 undergraduate degrees being offered at the India campus. And for a master's, we are offering an MBA Global, and we're offering a Master's of Applied Information Technology. Can we go on to the next slide, please? Yeah, there you go. So hands-on skills to get you job ready. We are very proud of the VU block model, which has been excellent across the board to deliver results. It's excellent because there is one very important element of being very close to industry. Our Melbourne campus is within the industry. It's the tallest university that there is in Melbourne. And we have very strategically thought of the same and created a campus which is within the industry. It is coming up in Gurugram, and it is in Candor Tech Space, which is again surrounded by the likes of Accenture, Google, I mean, you name it, and we'll have the industry to be a part around the students. Why this is relevant? Because industry would also mean that we do have sessions from the industry experts on campus. So while we are focusing on one subject, each of those subjects would make our industry head would make sure that there are guest lectures, there is in-depth research on all of those subjects while the student is studying it. So the focus is different, the learning is different, and we're trying to strive for something very different in the educational ecosystem. I'll wrap it up with that here. Any questions? Happy to take it on.
Sure. Thank you, Astha. Thanks for giving us such a valuable information. And I'm actually very happy about the VU block model because it's very uncommon in India. There are still few universities who are they have started it. For example, I know of Atria University, which calls it as a sprint model or a sprint learning model, but it's not very common in India. So my question to you is, and I'm very excited about this actually, but my question to you is that because it's so uncommon in India and universities are still exploring it, maybe a few universities are, how is Victoria University kind of preparing students to adapt to this? Because Indian mindset and Indian students are not looking at this from a commonality point. So how is the university making sure that the kids adapt to this new learning model? And as a further extension, when you said assessments are happening after every block class or block period, are these assessments test-based, project-based, or competency skill-based? So if you could just give an idea on that. And further extension, a very small one, that if the students who are, I'm sure this blockchain, the block model that we're talking about, it's going to be very rigorous for 4-week block. What about the students who are not able to get into that rigor? How would you be able to accommodate those students in case they are not able to come up with this intense pressure for the 4 weeks that we're talking about? For 4 weeks, 4 hours
3 hours.
a week, 3
Yeah.
hours a week. Yeah. Yeah. So
Yeah.
how would you want to do that?
All right, great. So to answer your question, these are going to be exam-based assessments. There could be assessments when we say is the final way of judging whether you've grasped the learning that was supposed to be gained from a particular unit or not. So yes, the formal way of assessment would be exams. However, there would be research projects, there would be assignments that a student is expected to complete before they walk into that 3-hour lecture that's going to be happening on campus, right? For the students who find it difficult, see, the idea of keeping the class size to a maximum of 35 students is that we cater to each student's learning style. The view block model is centered around the student. And you would see, because we are not saying learn it up from the go and then there's no touch point with the professor. It's very rare that once you enter university, you get easy touch points with professors and faculty members. VU block model has made sure that that really happens no matter when a student wants to reach out to the faculty member. And given that IVCs are generally coming in for the first time and setting up in this pomp and show, I'm especially for Victoria University, we are very centered around having a student support center where, if at all, nothing is working out, there's really difficulty, which is a rare case, the student always has an option to reach out to their respective center and let them know, and there'll be help available. So we've kept that in mind that if there is something new and there is a difficulty, the student have an ease of reference at every touch point during their 4-week block. And to answer your question of how the students are taking it, Ritu, so far in our outreach, students are quite impressed with the idea that they are not expected to do 30 things together and then give an exam. Some of them have really taken on to the idea that, yes, this could really mean that I learn something and deliver instead of putting my brain into
multiple things.
Yes, and try and ace at everything. So focused learning always gets better results. Not everybody's a multitasker. For example, myself, I'm not great at multitasking, but if I'm doing one task at a time, I'm able to be more productive, be more efficient. So
Absolutely.
It's from learner to learner. There is something for everybody, but here we're taking care that you actually are focused around what you want to do in your future. And if you're clear, then there's nothing better than that.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Asta, for that clarification. As Pramod also mentioned, I did not see that in your presentation about the mobility, the international mobility part, where either students do a semester exchange with the main campus, or students do 2+1, or what it could be, any kind of arrangement. So is that a possibility also?
Absolutely. There are global mobility options where you can start your undergraduate studies with us on the India campus. After completing your first year, you may choose to take transfer, but I must make it clear that there are also options to go and study for a block in Australia. This, however, will not be available for the first year. The idea is that you understand the VU way of learning. Once you're settled, the foundation has been laid, you can then think of your transfer second year onwards. And you also asked a question to Pramod about work after completing studies. So for Australia, you need to complete 2 years of study in Australia to get post-study work rights.
So that means, So that means if the student takes a transfer in the second year of the program, then it's a possibility to kind of get a 2-year of work permit.
Yes.
Otherwise not, right?
Yes. And additionally, so say if you've completed a certain point of time, your undergraduate degree is almost done here, and then you do want to do your post-graduation at the same time. So if you take your last year in Australia and club that with your master's degree, there are 2 benefits here. So you will be given extra credit from what you've studied here in undergrad. So your credit transfer would happen to your master's. So instead of a 2-year master, you will then do 1.5 years of master's in Australia. So altogether, again, that'll become roughly 2.5 years. Again, you get your postgraduate
work permit. Yeah, because a lot of families will look it at as a immigration
Of course.
pathways, right? Thank you so much, Astha. It was really nice talking to you, and I'm sure a lot of questions will come your way. Now I would want Vivek.
Yeah, hi.
Yeah, hi Vivek. So
Hey.
he represents University of Liverpool, and I would request Rashi to start the process, start the discussion.
Yeah, hi.
Over to you, Vivek. Please take us through the presentation. Then we might have a few questions for you.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you so much. Very good evening, everyone. First of all, thank you, Bhakti and Monica, for setting up the stage, and my colleagues Pramod and Asta. Got to learn a lot of things from you guys as well. So, I represent the University of Liverpool. I'm the Director of Admissions and Enrollments. So, University of Liverpool is set up in Bangalore. It's coming up in a hotspot, Whitefield, which is surrounded by tons of multinationals, as you guys would know. A lot of you would know. And the campus is again coming up in a place called Alembic City, which is a beautiful place, which is a home for Google, who have already set up their campus there. And the other gate is taken by the University of Liverpool. So the next slide, please. So yes, so as you all know, the University of Liverpool has a legacy of over 140 years now. It's established in the year 1881, and it's a founding member of the Russell Group of universities. It has produced over 9 Nobel laureates so far. In fact, the first one to find out the transmission of malaria was from the University of Liverpool in the early 1900s. And we have over 300,000 students from over 187 countries so far. Next slide, please. Yes, so we have a gold standard when it comes to teaching, and we're among the top 20 universities in UK and among the top 150 in the globe. So we are among the top 20 when it comes to employment as well, as far as UK is concerned. Now I'll just take you through the programs what we offer at the Bangalore campus. So we have very limited programs for the year one. We are offering 6 UG courses and 2 PG programs. So to start with, we have a business management program. We have an accounting and finance BSc. We have a program in biomedical science, which is a BSc course. We have program in computer science, which is BSc again, and we have computer science with software development, which is a BSc. So these programs we offer in undergraduation, and we have a couple of postgraduate programs as well. We offer programs in accounting and finance MSc, and we have computer science MSc as well. So as far as the fee structure is concerned, all our UG programs are at 11.5 lakh for Indian students, and for international students, it's around 13 lakh rupees. Coming to post-graduation programs, both the programs are at 15.5 lakh, and for international students, it's around 17 lakh rupees. So this is about, I'm just trying to keep it short. If you have any questions, most welcome.
Right. Thank you so much, Vivek. Shall we proceed with our questions? Vivek, if you're there.
Yeah, I'm there.
Yeah.
If there's any questions, yeah, please go ahead
Absolutely.
with the questions.
Vivek, so as we have heard from Pramod and Asta, we would first like you to talk about the faculty engagement and the mobility pathways offered by Liverpool. And additionally, if you could add on and tell us about how will the India campus support our students in accessing career opportunities both within India's technology and business ecosystem and potentially in UK and other international markets. So 2 questions there.
Okay, so answering your first question, number one, yes, we do have an option where a student can kind of spend a semester or year at the UK. And it would start in the year 2. Plus, the students at UK also have been given with an opportunity to spend one of the semesters in India as well. That is another thing, basically. And we're going to have close to 35 to 40% of our faculty are going to be from the home campus who teach students here in India. And even the rest of the faculties are going to be global faculties with rich experience working for a Russell Group or a Ivy League colleges, basically. Those are going to be the faculty. And as far as the program is concerned, it's going to be more of a research-led program a lot of prominence is given to research, as Asta and Pramod have spoken about it earlier. So as University of Liverpool, the major advantage what the student has is we already have a lot of associations here in India. Say, for example, we have an association with AIMS India for more than 3 decades now, and there's a research going on in the area of head and neck cancer. And we have an association with Indian Institute of Science, and we have R&D associations with Biocon, AstraZeneca. We have associations with, and we have association with HUL for a long time, basically. So all these associations are there for a long time. So students are given with the opportunities also for the research assignments and research projects. Number two, when it comes to the program is designed in such a way that there's a lot of interactions happening between the Indian students as well as the students back at the UK as well. So now, speaking about the research assignments and research projects, the students will not just be clubbed with their Indian peer mates. Rather, students would be given with an opportunity to work alongside the students back at the UK as well. So they'll work together on the research projects and assignments, basically. So that's the reason why, even though we have an option of day scholar, but we always recommend the student to stay at the student housing, because there's going to be a lot of learning happening post the college house and other things, and it's going to be a 24-hour campus as well. So this is what the thing is. And number two, in terms of the opportunities and other things, so what we are trying to do is, now as University of Liverpool, the home campus is associated with tons of multinational and institutions of eminence, both for research as well as for the career aspect as well over the years. Now, when just take you a couple of, just to give you a little bit of idea, 23 years back, our China campus was established, basically. So when that happened, so the China campus today has around 33,000 students. So when that happened, the companies which the home campus is associated, those things moved on to our China campus as well. They took an advantage of it. And today, there's a lot of research projects, research assignments, a lot of career enhancements are happening at our China campus as well. So we are going to make use of that as well in India campus. So first and foremost thing, there are two things to it. Number one, we are going to bring in all those expertise to India. We are going to associate with those organizations where where our home campus is already associated with, is number one. And number two, we would have a career cell basically at the campus as well, who would work on the placements, internships, and other things for the students as well. So this is how the things would work.
Thank you, Vivek. I have another question in the message box that I would like you to answer. So, you had mentioned two price points for international students and Indian students. So, there's a person, Mohita is asking, by international, do you mean non-Indian students? Because I think she belongs to a UK-based institution whose student might be interested in joining the India campus.
So yes, non-Indian students are considered as international students, basically.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Vivek, for keeping it swift and giving us all our answers. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
With that, we proceed to Shamal, who's representing Illinois Tech, Mumbai campus. Welcome, Shamal. And I hand it over to you to take us through the presentation first.
Hi, Shamal, are you there?
I'm so sorry. Yes. So sorry about that. So thank you, Ritu. Thank you, Prashi. Thank you, Bhakti. Thank you, Monica. Really excited to be here and represent the Illinois Tech Mumbai campus. This is the first US university that's stepping into India. And, we're all excited for this journey. It's a 130-year-old legacy that we are bringing into India in Vikhroli. This is going to be in the Godrej Business District, going to be part of more than 100 multinational companies sharing that space with them. If you can just move to the next slide, just briefly go over the. So what we are is we've been established in 1890, ranked in the top places, with our computing school ranked at number 64 in the US. So if I would just briefly tell you, we are primarily a STEM-based university where 85% of our programs are STEM-oriented programs, and that's similar to what we're offering in India also. We also focus a lot on experiential learning. We have something called an Elevate program. I will talk about the Elevate program after I introduce Illinois Tech to you. Next slide, please. So we are ranked number one in Illinois. This is so if you know Illinois is got one of the top universities already. We've already got Northwestern and we've already got UIC there. So we are ranked number one in Illinois. We are also in the top 20, top 91 in the world top universities ranking, and also one of the top five STEM-based programs operating in the US. So this is the legacy that we are bringing in to India, and this is what we're going to be offering to our students. Next slide, please. Yeah. So four undergrad programs priced at 16 lakhs per annum. For grad programs, again priced at 20 lakhs per annum. If you see, most of our programs are STEM oriented. Just to make very clear, this is the same program that's being offered in Chicago campus is going to be offered in the Mumbai campus. There is no difference in the program that's being offered. The pedagogy, the curriculum, the degree itself is all the same. The faculties that are being coming in, there would be a mix of faculties from Chicago. There would be international faculties and local faculties that we would be hiring from top schools in India. So it'll be we're going to try to mirror the experience that the student has in the US that's going to have in India. There are three mobility options that we do offer students from India to the US. For example, if a student does want to do a transfer program, so he can do a couple of up to two semesters in the US, anytime except for the final year, he can do, and that transfer that he would do to the US would be purely at the Indian fees. There would not be a US fees attached to that. The second mobility option that we have is the second mobility option comes in where he can actually take a transfer like a 3+1 program or a 2+2 program, where he would then pay the US fees for the last 2 years. If he does take the transfer program he would have the option for STEM designated programs. He would have the option to take on the OPT also in the US. And the third option that we offer is the accelerated master's program, where a student, instead of a 4-year degree program, a 4-year undergrad and a 2-year grad program, he could do a accelerated master's within 5 years, do both the undergrad and the grad program together. So what we're offering today is a complete, the best of US education coming to India at the Indian price. The Elevate program, I wanted to just briefly talk about the Elevate program. So this is very unique to Illinois Tech, and so if I think about it, it's a smart plan. That's what we call it. It's a smart plan where we're guiding students, working with students right from day one, designing their curriculum, designing their extracurriculars. Each of these activities, outside campus activities, the student has to have at least two outside campus activities each year. So the year one is where we're talking about life skills and practical training. The second year is more focused on practical training. The third year we focus on what we call the maker space, where whatever they've learned in practice, we're putting that completely with the industry, where we are taking in projects from the industry and students are working on that. So that's a maker space, and there's a whole maker space coming up in the campus itself, where students can do live projects in the campus itself. And the fourth year, where we're working on internships, co-op models, with companies in India and abroad, tapping our alumni. So we already have a very big alumni base in India already. So we have almost 10,000 students already who are coming from India. So it's a huge alumni base that we already cater to. So we are looking at, I've mentioned the fees. The application fee amount is 5,000. It's waived for the end of this month. And then we would have rolling admission ending on June 15th. We would have April deadlines would be deadlines where scholarships would be more easily available. From after the April 15th deadline, the second deadline would have lower scholarship options available to the students. If any of the students are looking for scholarships would be divided into 3 categories: need-based, merit-based, and special achievement scholarships that we would evaluate.
Thank you so much, Shamal. And I think
Yeah.
you've given us the capsule version of all the information we've been asking
Yes.
for
Yes.
from all the universities. There is just one point that comes to mind, that what about the industry partnerships of the Illinois Tech Mumbai campus, and what are the future plans and how can they benefit the students?
So thank you, Rashi. So Rashi, what we're looking at, in our curriculum that we're designing right on along with the Chicago campus, it's actually the same curriculum. We're already including corporates working, in India, and they're coming on the advisory board of the institute, where we are working with them to make sure that it's a completely Indian industry ready program for them. So the program is going to be designed by the industry, and we will have opportunities in top multinational companies, in India and globally with the Illinois Tech network that the students in India will have the option to go to take up.
Sorry, I just have to say this. Illinois Tech is also the chief patron in India is Jamshed Godrej.
Yes.
And that's a huge, huge benefit for Illinois Tech. So proud to see this take shape, and congratulations and all the best,
Thank you.
Shamal and Illinois Tech.
Thank you, and that's the reason why we are setting up in the Godrej campus, because he's been on the advisory board for the last 27 years with us, and actually he's like a father figure to us in a way, because he's managing everything for us. So there's really nothing. So it's the alumni that we are so proud of, who's been helping us in this entire journey. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Shamal, for taking us through this. And with that, I request Ritu to take us forward with the next two universities, Bristol and Aberdeen. I know that we are at 1 hour mark, but asking our audience to hang on, something exciting coming up for all of you.
Absolutely. Thank you, Rashi. I would now invite Uday to kind of share the screen and share the presentation, and then the questions will follow. Uday represents University of Bristol.
Hi, good evening, Ritu. Good evening, Rashi. Good evening, Monica and Bhakti. Thank you so much for giving us all the opportunity today to speak. Great forum. It was lovely hearing my colleagues from other universities speak about their offerings and value. Quite frankly, keeping biases apart, very, very interesting times for the Indian higher education when you see such quality coming in. As far as I'm concerned, my name is Uday Virmani. I'm the Chief Business Officer at University of Bristol, Mumbai Enterprise Campus. Spent more than 20 years in the industry. In fact, my last 10 years, my association was with Indian School of Business, and then followed by BITS Pilani Mumbai. I was part of the business school. Now, University of Bristol is launching the Mumbai Enterprise Campus. In fact, to be very honest, this would be the second enterprise campus which University of Bristol is bringing in. The first one is in Temple, and the second would be Mumbai. But it's a coincidence that both the campuses in similar time frame will be getting launched. Temple should be coming somewhere in August, September, and so is the timelines for the Mumbai Enterprise Campus. Now, the word enterprise, what does exactly it means? I will speak more about it. But first, let's speak about the legacy. First, let's speak about the history. Can we go to the next slide, please? Thank you. Now, see, as far as city of Bristol is concerned, it's around about 2 hours from London, and the University of Bristol the date goes back to 1876, almost 150-year old university, and in terms of it's among the top 24 universities of the Russell Group universities, in terms of the contribution and the excellence that is there towards the research. Now, research and academic excellence go hand in hand, because it's the research output, the research quality, which basically defines the learning pedagogy, the learning delivery within the classroom. And it's a interdisciplinary learning what Bristol basically boasts of. And the emphasis has been around the STEM education, which has highly been rated. In fact, in many ways, Bristol has been very, very unique, very, very different. I've spent now a certain time with the university, and there's something which I keep saying that I like about this place. Basically, it's all about the psychological safety what university creates in terms of its gender diversity, in terms of the kind of a democratic setup the university has. the space that it gives to all the stakeholders, whether it's the faculty, whether it's the students, whether it is the internal and external, concerned stakeholders. I think it gives that kind of a comfort to express themselves. In fact, this was the first university to, focus a lot around gender diversity and to welcome the first, women student in the university in UK. It's been ranked among the top 50 in the world as per the QS rankings, eighth in the UK, and as far as research part is concerned, it's ranked among the top five. Again, that's the reason why it makes the part of the 24 universities which are the part of the Russell Group. Now, the good thing is that in spite of holding its traditional value, in spite of its strong pedagogy, a lot of focus around fundamentals, this has been named, the Bristol has been named as the AI University of the Year in 2024. So, a traditional university also uh, making a way to be very, very contemporary. And that's the reason why the enterprise campuses are getting launched. So basically the core will be retained, but yet the university will focus a lot around the new age technologies, the new age learning. The idea is basically to identify or to understand what the learning gaps or what the skill gaps are there in the industry and to build programs according to it. So I think this is one university in UK which focuses a lot on employability and career outcomes from day one itself. So we have spoken about the rankings, we have spoken about the culture part, the legacy, and one famous bit. I mean, we all know about Winston Churchill, who was a British premier. He was when in fact India got its independence. He was the third chancellor of the university. So I mean, that's the kind of a history the university holds in terms of the Nobel Prize winners. It has produced around about 13 Nobel Prize winners, and 94% of the research quality it's considered to be of absolute world class. As far as India is concerned, we have done a lot of work in conjunction with IIT Bombay in terms of building of communities, faculty development, and research initiatives. Now, based on that particular history, being a very, very global university which has 2 lakh alums spread across 200 countries, I think we feel this is the right time to enter into India, which is in many ways a melting pot, especially a city like Mumbai, which is the most cosmopolitan and diversified city in the country in terms of the representation at the national level, the representation as far as the career streams are concerned. So I think, the Mumbai in many ways offers a great opportunity to build an enterprise campus. Can we go to the next slide, please? Yep. Now, the enterprise campus, what exactly it means? I mean, it's saying that, we will bring students, researchers, and industry leaders together to shape a better future for people and planet. In fact, the education is extremely contemporary. It's very, very industry applied. So when I say that the education is going to be very, very industry applied, it's not only about what we are giving to what we are going to give to the industry, but also what industry is going to bring into our classrooms. The idea is very, very clear that it's going to be an outward pyramid of learning. That is, we will continue our focus on getting strong academicians into the classroom. Plus, you're going to supplement that learning by getting the industry practitioners or prac academicians into the classrooms, which can bring the industry's learning into the classroom. In fact, our courses are very, very contemporary, and I feel that any university is not for philosophy, but it's a very, very practical academy. So if you look at our courses like data science, economics, financial technology, finance and investment, or immersive arts, it's a good convergence of traditional courses along with technology and what the skill gaps are there in the industry. So in all, the Mumbai Enterprise Campus is going to be extremely vibrant. It will have constant dialogue with the industry, with the government, policymakers, think tanks, and leaders. So continuing with the legacy of being a very, very strong research-driven institute, it will bring a lot of learnings of the industry into the classroom. In fact, I come from a business school background, but this is for the first time I'm seeing a university which offers an undergrad program. Of course, all universities offer undergrad programs, but the emphasis on employment is from day one itself. Education, of course, is of paramount. But speaking about career, speaking about employability, speaking about the kind of plug and play talent that what a university has to produce. I mean, for the first time in my entire career that I'm witnessing. Now, bringing the UK education into the Indian hubs for research and innovation, I think that's quite exemplary. I mean, I'm sure many universities do speak about it, but I think the idea here it would be that our faculty would work with the industry in terms of the real life data, bring those problem statements into the classrooms, and we want our students to work on those problems. And these problems will not be limited to one particular industry, but we are going to make it very, very cross-dimensional. We plan to have 3 different experiential learning projects where a student would work on a corporate life project, on a social life project, and on a government and a public policy kind of a problem statement. Idea is to prepare well-rounded personalities who can fit, as I said, into think tanks, into consulting, into conglomerates, into working into the M&A departments of the large organizations. Now, why these courses that we have created, whether it's data science, economics, finance, and investments, purely because the market says that the kind of data scientists that are required or the kind of economists that are required to do the problem solving, or for that matter, how the entire Indian ecosystem of financial services is changing because of the AI and of the digitalization.
Sure.
Can we go to the next slide, please? These are the programs which I've already spoken, so I would not spend much of a time. Let's go to the next slide, please. And these are the program fee, almost standard 15 lakhs per year for the undergrad program. And for the masters, barring the immersive arts, is going to be 22. We will definitely be having, a generous way of giving scholarship, which is going to be broad-based. Not only, I mean, of course, it will be for the financial assistance, but also it will be merit-driven too. So we're going to have a combination of both. There will be 3 exciting scholarships which will be announced soon. In terms of international mobility, also, yes, we do score by having an semester exchange, and also we have a global pathway where a student can spend 1 year at Bristol, which would be the 3rd year. So 2+1, that's the idea, or maybe idea is basically 2+1, because a student can be prepared, can have the necessary global exposure when he or she comes back for the employment. So the idea is to create an out-and-out international university experience, which will be well integrated with the industry, which will bring the best of the education into the classrooms in terms of global faculty, the top Indian faculty, extremely applied research driven, where the faculty will not be confined or limited to the classroom, but will interact with the industry on a regular basis so that those learnings will come into the classroom. So, and in terms of industry integration, I've already spoken up quite a bit. Our focus would be to, work with industries or with companies across the spectrum, whether it's financial technologies, whether it's full service banks, whether it is your, the media houses or production companies, or for that matter, working with the think tanks and policymakers. I've already given the link and the scanner for the website. The application fee earlier was 5,000, which we have brought it down to 2,000, and rest of the breakup is there on the website too. Thank you.
Thank you. That this has been really informative, and I'm very glad that University of Bristol has chosen Mumbai to be part of to start the program here. My only question to you here would be, and for everybody's benefit, we know that Bristol is a very research intensive university. You also yourself said that the focus is on research excellence, and that's how it has been being part of Russell Group. And we also know that the IBCs are possible now because of the NEP alignment and stuff. My question is that in India today, with the NEP coming in, the fourth year that is being added to Indian degrees is mainly research focused. The 3-year degrees are now, so the standard conventional Indian universities are now able to offer 3 years plus 1 year extension as a research experience to add a 4th year to the degree. Your degrees are 3 years, and mostly for others also. Is there a possibility of adding 1 additional year to kind of align with the NEP research focus when it comes to Indian education landscape?
I think, Ritu, that's a great question. I think, 3-year program has its advantages, and so does a 4-year brings its own benefits. But, in many ways, though, of course, the new education policy gives the leeway or gives the opportunity to build a 4-year program with having a 1 year of research. But also at the same time, the UGC says your programs have to completely mirror the way it's being offered in the home campus or in the parent campus. So I think, that's the way the Bristol way of learning has been. I think it's always been a 3-year undergraduate program. So we cannot, even if we want, personally, if I would want to bring that disruption, I mean, I can't do that. I have to go as per the guidelines of UGC. But at the same time, I think the way the 3-year program has been built, the assessment is not only about the closed book examination, but it's going to be about research projects. It's going to about, the viva, the way we do it while we are, defending our dissertation. So I think the 3-year program will be built in a way where there'll be a good balance between practical learning. There'll be a good focus around where we train the student, that they are research driven, they take decisions which are data driven, right? And also, I think, we'll make it very contemporary in terms of the academic pedagogy will be very research driven and research oriented, but at the same time, the application will bring in the applied research component. At the same time, we want to bring in the practitioners who will give the real life problem in the industry.
Absolutely.
So that, the student know what the applicability of the frameworks is, what they're learning in the class.
Sure. Thank you so much. I think that answers the questions. I would now request Professor Rahul to take charge of the last presentation of the evening, which is University of Aberdeen.
Thanks, Ritu.
Thank you, Professor.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much, Bhakti, Ritu, all of you for staying back over time on a Friday evening. This should be really the most exciting thing we are doing on a Friday evening. But thank you so much also for setting up that question related to the 4-year degree. And I'm just going to drop in the contact details of my colleague Sandeep. And Sandeep, you can just maybe unmute yourself and say hi to everyone.
Yes, thank you, Professor. So my name is Sandeep, and I'm the Associate Director for Admission and Outreach at University of Aberdeen, and I work under Professor Rahul. So excited to meet you all here today. Looking forward to working closely with everyone. If you have any questions, there is my number as well in the presentation. You could reach out to me directly as well. Thank you. Thank you, Professor.
Very good, Sandeep. All right, so I want to get straight to the question, which is asked by parents, by stakeholders, employers, that what is the value of foreign degrees, one, but the second is the 4-year honors degree, right? And both questions are getting addressed in this University of Aberdeen offering because if you look at the landscape of all the options from English universities, Australian universities, except American universities, all are 3-year degrees. So it's a very unique characteristic that the Scottish universities are, first of all, 4-year honors degrees. And since you are all educators and counselors, you may already be knowing that Harvard was founded in 1636. And that was pretty much borrowing the model from the Scottish universities, which were called ancient universities, the first 6 universities, which were founded before 1600 AD. Aberdeen happens to be one of them. So the 4-year honors degree is a standard which has been existing for more than 5 centuries. It is now a core of the national education policy, which is encouraging the interdisciplinary aspects, it is encouraging the mobility and flexibility, and it is encouraging the optionality that students should have options to explore, right? So my emphasis here is that if someone is thinking about University of Aberdeen, they are basically becoming a star because of these 4 reasons. That's a simple framework I wanted to leave you with, right? First of all, the Scottish heritage and quality. So as I mentioned, more than 5 centuries of heritage, and the 4-year honors degree, which signals the reputation and excellence of the university. It has seen it all in that way, right? Like from calamities to to wars to everything, but it survived and it is doing well. In terms of rankings, it is among the top 250 in the world, according to Times Higher Ed and QS 2025. The second part is transferable skill, T. This has been talked about by my colleagues also, and which is true that all universities are trying to make sure that the career readiness is built into it. In a 4-year curriculum, it gets an extra edge. You know that a 4-year curriculum provides for an extra year of maturity. So when an employer is meeting this candidate, they can see the difference of that 1 additional year of learning in terms of how the student speaks, how they engage, how they contribute, but also they're getting 3 summer breaks. Those 3 summer breaks plus the final project, it adds up to 1 year of almost additional experiential learning. which is very sellable for an employer because they are getting additional 1 year of training to get the person productive on the day one. So it's a very solid value add from employer side, and that helps with career readiness. A is the alignment with the India's national education policy, which I already mentioned. And this is a very critical part of alignment because it not only aligns with the foreign university norms from UGC perspective, but it also aligns with the 4-year requirement which NEP is putting together. And R is the recognition worldwide, right? Like the optionality is a very critical aspect for students, for parents, that whatever they want in future, they should have options. So for example, they want to go for a master's degree to the US. No questions asked. The 4-year degree is 100% acceptable. They are thinking about immigrating to a country where 4-year degree may be getting the points, whereas a 3-year degree may not. So there could be those options. And the last part is that it provides for the seamless recognition for the PhD programs. So again, a very important characteristic of NEP, which all of you may already know, that if you have a 4-year honors degree, you don't need a master's degree to enroll in a PhD program, right? So that's the point of optionality that is recognized worldwide and provides a lot more pathways for students. So again, just to sum it up, 4 quick things. If you think about University of Aberdeen, it's an opportunity for a student to become a star because of these 4 reasons. Moving to the next slide, I think I took it very literally when I was told that, okay, you have to prepare only 2 slides. So I got 2 slides. So there's my only second slide and the last one, which is tuition fee. It is 12 lakh rupees per year. And in the founding class for the first year, we are offering an Aberdeen Pioneer Scholarship, which means that the 10 lakh rupees is the for the first year tuition fee for the incoming class. We have 4 programs. These are all very popular and high demand programs. MA in Business Management, MA Economics, BSc in Computing Science, BSc in Data Science. This is again a characteristic of an ancient university, which was founded more than before 1600 AD. MA is awarded, which is the Master of Arts. It's a 4-year undergraduate honors degree. It's not a Master of Arts. It's not a master's degree. And that is because it was a nomenclature founded 5 centuries ago, and it still continues. It is awarded in social science disciplines like business management, economics. But for the STEM fields, it is still called BSc, BSc Computing Science and BSc Data Science. So not to be confused, admissions requirements are self-explanatory. And I'll pause here because I know we are already overshot the time. So I'll pause here.
Thank you, Professor Rahul. I think that was a question on my mind also about the difference between an MA degree and the BSc degree, though both are 4 years. So you answered that question very well. The very quick last question that I wanted to ask you was, Aberdeen is also known for its research programs, right? So and I was going through the brochure. There's a scope, there's an emphasis on research. So would you kind of let me know if there are any kind of research opportunities that will be available through these 4 years of degrees? And in what fields, since we are only looking at very limited programs?
Very good point. Yeah. So there are 2 ways to think about this. One is the embedded experiences of research in the program of a 4-year honors degree. So they are coming throughout the types of assignments, assessments, and projects students are doing throughout their programs. But then there is at the end of the year, so the final year, the 4th year, second semester, they have pretty much the whole semester for the research project. And that can be designed by the student based on their interest in 2 ways. One, they can make it industry-based. So if they are very much driven by what's the next job I'm looking for, it is related to marketing and advertising, go for it. It's a very applied learning, capstone-based. But the person may say, no, actually, I'm very much inclined towards a research track or a career, may want to pursue potentially a PhD. that's a great opportunity for them to make it a research-based academic project with the faculty or with very intensive scholarly paper-based project, which can allow them to become competitive for the PhD program, which I mentioned was a second aspect of a very solid pathway. So if you have a 4-year honors degree, you don't need a master's degree. You can directly go into a PhD program. And that final year of the project can give them a very solid competitive edge.
Thank you so much. That really answers my question. Thank you for your patience, everyone. The time has come for us to now get into our breakout rooms. The idea is that everybody can ask the questions to the respective admission officers and the university representatives. Ask the pertinent questions. That's very, very important for the sake of the time. Ask the questions that have not been answered already through the presentation, and you can move to any of the breakout rooms that are available. The rooms will be open for next 20 minutes. Thank you. Bijoya, can you just now start looking at the breakout rooms?
Okay, just adding this here, we have divided the universities room-wise. Room 1, we have York University. Room 2, we have Victoria. Room 3, we have Liverpool. Room 4, we have Illinois Tech. Room 5, we have Bristol. And room 6, we have Aberdeen. We'll also be posting this in the message for your ease. And see you all in the breakout rooms. Thank you.
Yes. See you all. Thank you.
Hi, Amrita.
Hello.
I think the questions were answered. The session
Yes.
in the beginning, the brief was very detailed and everything was good. There were lesser people in the breakout rooms. That's why
Yeah,
loads of questions were answered earlier.
I agree. They did a very good job, the outreach and the reps, and everybody did a fabulous job of taking us through all the points. And I guess we'll also be sharing the recording and the details. So, yep, everybody will be contacting you guys.
It's been a pleasure connecting with you all.
Hello, hello, hello. So, everyone who's alive at this point and is invested in the conversation, well done, you. Huge thank you to the universities, honestly. Your presentations were very informative. The brochures that you have shared will be shared with everyone, not just the TOC members, but everyone who registered for the session. And we'll make sure that they have your contact information and that they can reach out to you directly if they have any questions. We just want to thank all of you for being here and for the counselors who have stayed on, and some of the usual suspects I see in the room. Not surprising, but always impressed to see you just be there till the end of the learning. Really proud of the fact that you really want hardcore information and first-hand information. So all the best when you're advising your students. I hope some of your myths have been dispelled, some of your questions have been answered. It's not possible for us to achieve 100% clarity in 2 hours about something that is a rather significant shift in options, but this is one step in that direction, and we will continue to take more steps. If you have ideas on how we can connect you more or better with these universities, let us know. We're definitely going to plan something in person at all of these campuses if the universities allow us and entertain us. We'd love to take some of you to see the campuses. I'd personally love to visit it. Heads up, Bristol is doing a beautiful reception on Monday. More information will also be shared with you, or if you're a member of TOC, you will receive that
It's
on
on
email.
Tuesday.
Monica, go ahead. Yeah.
No, it's on Tuesday and Wednesday.
Tuesday and Wednesday. Sorry, my bad. If you have a link here that you want to share, because we have the creative, but we will, that will be given to the members for sure. We'll also send it out to everyone who's attended the session. But thank you all so much. And thank you, Monica, for
so much.
making it happen
Thank
for
you,
the
everyone
website.
else as well.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Thank
Good
you. Have a
evening.
lovely
Thank
weekend, guys.
you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.